How are we doing? Just first time we went live, so fucking let's do this. Just crack a drink. Firstly, I apologise for no episode today. Basically, I was meant to record an episode two episodes last week and got let down. Today is going to be like, I've got a couple of really exciting announcements. I wasn't meant to be telling anyone just yet, but I thought, seeing as though I'll let you down a bit, because I feel like I've been consistent for the last sort of 18 months or 2 years with regards to getting an episode out and the Patreon out, and I can see the chat popping off now. I actually can't read it from where I am, so I have to read it off here. What I'll do is I'll read through some of your questions now, and then we'll go through some of the announcements and stuff like that. So give me 2 seconds, I need to get onto this chat. Can you see me all alright, by the way? I don't even know if this has went out alright. Yeah, what the questions are coming in? Why is there loads of questions? You could have put it in the chat, not in the fucking Facebook inbox, man. Right, let's go. We'll see what's what. Oh, there's some interesting names popping up in for these questions, you know. Oh, okay, now. Right, sorry about that. I should be interacting with the camera really, but the inbox started sort of going a bit mental. Starting getting all the questions at once. I should have advertised this a bit better, to be honest with you. I can see there's a few in now, like. First one's from Ryan Plaskett, and that's, alright mate, don't suppose you don't have any advice on someone who's never DJed before, or even any tips other than work. I've got nothing to do in life. So, yeah, 23, I'm deciding to be a bit late to the scene and trying to accomplish something in my life by the time I get 30 or 35 songs down already. No decks yet though, found a decent set, but I've got no experience, and we need to learn from scratch and train myself up. And that's from Rye Plaskett. Right. Nicest way possible is it's very simple to DJ these days, in my opinion, because of all the technology that's there. I'm having to flick between the chats here. Because you can go out and get like a controller. You can even get like a controller without a laptop nowadays. Like I've got the RX2, which I think it's banging. It does everything I need to. I can plug my vinyls in if I really want to and stuff like that. Trying to get the live chat up. So I'll probably go, if you're looking for something on the cheap side of things, the Pioneer do a really good like range that you can plug in for a laptop. I don't know the precise details on names of what they are, but yeah. For regards to learning, if you know anything about music at all, it's sort of a building block, like your bars and your phrases and how a track's structured and stuff like that. If you've got that sort of knowledge, then feel like you're sort of halfway there already. It says you produce tunes as well. If you produce tunes, you know the structures, how structures of tracks work. So you can probably just go with to mix. With beat matching and that, I would probably, if you wanted to learn properly, probably get on YouTube. YouTube's like your friend. I built this studio off the back of YouTube. I've never ever put plasterboards up in my life. I plastered walls and stuff, but never fucking built roofs or out like that. And I literally got all of mine off the back, all of my tips and everything off the back of YouTube. Didn't know how to do insulation, didn't know how to put a floor down, didn't know about installing lights and everything like that. And YouTube, I mean, there is some complete idiots on YouTube, don't get me wrong, but yeah, like as I say, YouTube's your friend, especially nowadays. Let's have a look. So Tom Parr says yo. DVB Production says howdy. Kieran Port says hi. Adam Forshaw says yes I. Tom Parr says when you have me in the studio with a winky face. Tom, let me just tell you something. You're welcome anytime, my friend. Anytime. What I would do if I was to get you up here, I would record an episode with you, and I would maybe get some of the hard house heads from my area in on it. I think that there'd be a good debate there. Do you know what I mean? I think we could get right into the deep and dark parts of hard house, whether it be production, whether it be the nights and the events and stuff like that, or just a bit of everything. You're more than welcome anytime, Tom. Well, in fact, you know something? When I get off here, we'll book something in. That's what that. What else have we got here? Shoes from Worky. I'm not sure. Oh, was that for that Ryan? I think that Ryan is from Workington. I don't really know him, to be honest with you. Adam Forshaw says Nick B does lessons at Excelsior Studios. If the person's anywhere near Bolton or Blackburn. Pricey says 1212. DJ Cocky, hi Amara. Tom Parr, oh love you, thanks mate. Yes, Carl's in, giving it a big yo. Jamie Ward, when you get Berg on. I talk to Berg almost weekly. In fact, it is weekly. I tell a lie. I keep twisting his arm. I'll tell a little story before I get into the next questions and stuff like that. Burgos, or MC Burgos, is a lad who's close to me. For those who don't know, is that he was an MC for Dirty Donkers, and he was a bit of a promoter around here. Initially, he was meant to be the co-host of the podcast, but he couldn't dedicate himself to doing a weekly podcast and stuff like that. So he was meant to be one of the earlier guests, but we just haven't got around to getting a date booked in or anything like that. So yeah, the Burgos story would be brilliant. Don't get me wrong, because the reason I wanted to do it with him is I think we've got good chemistry when we have a crack as well. And another thing, I was like the organised one who could get everything set up and prepared, obviously. And I think like I can interact with people, and I've got a good social. I can break down people's barriers and stuff like that, and get to talk to them on a deeper level. But Berg would have been good for as a co-host, because he's a bit of a character, and he's got that quick-witted humour and everything like that. So yeah, he was meant to be the co-host of this podcast. So there's a little thing I wasn't expecting to tell people today on a live stream. As I said, let me just get a drink. Quite thirsty. These are absolutely class, by the way. Monster Super Fuel. It's juice. It's not like fizzy, so recommend them. But yeah, that's about Berg. So Berg will be coming on. It's just as and when we can get something locked down. And if you just come on, we're probably going to do like a 2-3 hour special, because I think he's got so many stories. And a lot of people as well, I think, would be interested in it. Let's have a look. He'll have a good story, the best ever. Let's see, what else have we got in here? Anonymous question. Is there anything you've ever forgot or wished you've asked a guest after recording a pod? And that's from Anonymous. Oh, fucking hell. Do you know something? There's been the odd person where I've had to go back and do a part 2, because I thought, fuck me, I haven't asked the obvious questions, and like, it's proper annoying when you walk away and it's like, shit, people would want to know this. And yeah, with regards to that, there's been a couple where I've been like, I've wanted to ask the question, but some of it's like on a personal level, or how can I put this? I've had to ask them off the air, because I don't know how private they want their stuff to be, and obviously I respect people's boundaries and stuff like that. But yeah, I have turned off a pod before after a recording, and obviously when we've got conversations going and it's got into a conversation, I've asked the questions that I wanted to ask. And a lot of the time, I'm surprised. A lot of the time, they could probably be put on the podcast, but with a special announcement I've got coming, right? This might be a really good, really good and relatable to that question. So, is there anything I've wished or forgot to ask a guest? Yeah. So I'll get through a couple more questions, and then what I'll do is I'll get on to the announcements. I think a lot of people will enjoy them. Question for the viewers: if you were an inch inside your mum, but your dad was an inch inside you, which way would you push to escape? Half. Right. What I'd do is, personally, I think this has been asked on the podcast before. It's the most podcast question ever. But basically, what I would do is I would push back into my dad. Not only for two reasons. One, he's dead, so what's the worst could happen? Do you know what I mean? And two, if he was alive, right, what I would do is simply, it's a bro code in it. You're not going to go inside your mum. Why are we talking about this? Well, you're not going to go inside your mum, but you would just look at your dad and just say, listen, we're never going to talk about this again. You wouldn't even need to say it. You just eye contact and you'd know straight away. Depends on your relationship with your dad though, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? We'll move on from that question. Yeah, the Potato Man rhyme from Kieran. That would be absolutely. I'd love to get into that and just ask him questions and stuff like that. Greg Evans says go sideways. How can you go sideways, mate? Do you know what I mean? Kirsty says apologise on his behalf. Oh, by the way, that question was from Pricey, just so you know. I thought I'd just sort of answer the question. Anything you ask, I'll sort of answer and do my best to answer. Yeah, fucking hell, look, they've got questions coming in. It doesn't help them in group chats as well when they're coming in. Just so you know, I see DVB as a standout in our scene. Should be getting more gigs. That's correct. Yeah, we should. There should be. DVB were brilliant guests on the podcast. I never met them before until I met Dom at Ease, and then Ben came after that, and I was like, these guys are a class. They're like chalk and cheese. Are so different as well. Ben's like got a really dry sense of humour, and it's like so similar to mine. And yet Dom, he's silly, and Dom's watching, by the way. I can see him tuned in. So silly, and like he's I apologise, Dom, by the way, but you're the Carl Pilkington of bounce. But that is the biggest compliment like I could give you, because you've got so much character, and 110% coming back for a part 2 for that, even a part 3, because that was one of my favourite podcasts, by the way, just so you know. I really enjoyed it, and not only that, there were characters, but they had a really good story to tell, and a lot of people didn't know about them. Do you know what I mean? So I thought that was one of the things. Moshes. Someone says Moshes. Oh, Greg Evans says Moshes. Kieran Porter says DVB are the goats. No one comes close. They are very, very, very talented lads. I'm going to put this out there. I hope that Dom and that don't mind. But currently doing a collab. Me and John, as Mike, are doing a collab with DVB. We're doing a cover of a classic. Got a re-vocal and that on it. So there's some news as well. I wasn't even meant to tell anyone that, but I thought I'll tell you anyways. But yeah, honestly, just absolutely, like, I've got no. I'm excited about it. I'm really, really excited about doing that collab. I don't really, other than John, you'll see that I don't really work with people when I'm producing. It's because I live such a busy lifestyle. This is another thing that I wanted to address on the pod as well, on here about the pod. The podcast takes up so much time in my life. I've talked to people about it off the pod, but I've never actually addressed it on the pod. I spend probably about 14 hours a week on the pod, and that is literally because I do editing, I record it all myself. Obviously, I travel to and from the guests. The the promo. I spend hours and hours on promo. People are asking me how am I getting like good viewership and stuff like that. It's simply, you've just gotta be willing to put the time into like making sure the right people hear it. Like, there's people who, you know, for instance, when we had DVB on, I know there's people out there who are massive fans. Kieran's a massive fan of DVB. Do you know what I mean? Sorry for I keep referencing you as well, Dom, but I'm just using you as an example. I know that they're going to be tuned in, so I make sure I send it to them, and like I know who the target audience is for each one. For instance, when Tom was on, like Tom Parr, I've got loads of friends who are in Hard House, and I thought they'll like this. I'll fire it over to them. And I do ads, and I do Facebook ads is pretty shit nowadays. I'll talk about a bit of marketing as well while I'm here. Facebook ads is pretty shit. Well, I found it pretty shit nowadays. It just gets you a general audience. I was waiting for the bite. With a general audience, it doesn't get you like your captive audience that you want. I find YouTube, like Google Ads, and Instagram is a real big one for us. Like, if I put an ad on, it gets a lot of interaction. So I wish my own tunes got the same interaction. Do you know what I mean? Kieran Porter says you need to get Luke Hudson on. Yeah, might get Luke on at some point. I don't see why not. I know he brought out a tune the other day, didn't he? So he's still active and going. But yeah, probably get him on somewhere down the line, I imagine. Let's see what else we've got here. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start just going through some of the things, because I've got a couple of things to address today as well. I was only expecting to go on for like 15 minutes and just get it out there, but obviously people are interacting in the chat and everything like that. So the couple of things I've got to address is, with the Adam Forshaw says, when am I coming up the road? Fiddy, yeah. A couple of things I want to say about this one. Fid's episode was meant to go out as episode 66, I believe. I can't, off the top of my head, I don't know. I think it was 66. And I was just gutted that what had happened. So we were recording and the audio failed on one, so I had to recover the audio. I used AI, thank God for AI. So if you're signed up on Patreon, you can actually go and watch that episode now, but it's not out publicly, which I'm a bit gutted about, to be honest with you. What had happened was, for the first time ever, my audio, I've had the camera fail on me, but the audio failed because the SD card corrupted, which I was absolutely gutted about. But yeah, Fiddy's going to come on, and I'm going to get him to tell the same story and more, because we only got to the end of his. So basically, he was a raver beforehand, before he got involved in the scene. So he was telling me about the story about him getting into the rave and stuff like that. We never touched on any of the promotion, any of the getting involved with Sanka or anything like that. So there's still a massive story to tell there. I hope the video and audio is working alright, because I'm just talking to myself otherwise. Wait, there, I've got more comments coming in, more messages. Only one Lily B says here, hi, how are you doing? But yeah, so with regards to the announcements, I put up a post a couple of weeks ago saying about going to be doing a Patreon special. I just vaguely said it, I didn't go into detail, but I can tell you now that it's going to be, the theme's going to be, it's time to refresh, smashed spooky special. It does it exactly what it says on the tin. It's going to be a Halloween special, drops on Halloween as well. I don't even know when the 31st is, what day it is. It might be come out the same day as a public episode, I don't know. But it's going to be on Patreon behind the paywall. Basically what it is, I've got 3 guests. We're going to record for say 3 or 4 hours. It's going to record all the carnage. We're going to talk music. We're going to talk scene chat. Everything's going to be all unfiltered. And I'm going to edit out the shit, obviously, because if you talk for 3 hours, there's going to be bits that'll be just someone getting up to go and get a drink and whatnot. But basically, I'm going to be supplying them with tequila and beer. You'll have a view of the full studio as well, because obviously there's going to be 3 of us in. There'll be seats here, and the table. We'll do a couple of games, a bit of a quiz, and what we'll do is just a bit of a chat and get smashed, essentially. I'm just going to get smashed and talk shit, and I'm not going to edit any of it, not like at all. Anything that gets said will be kept in, essentially. I'll edit out all the if someone gets up and, as I say, goes to get a drink or goes for a piss or something like that, because you're going to be there for 4 hours. There's no, I can't. Well, I suppose if there's 3 of us out and carry the conversation, I might just leave the cameras rolling. I'm going to set up like a CCTV camera in the corner that looks over everything, and then I've got the 2 normal cameras as well. Sorry, there's more. I'm getting messages in as well. Sorry, I'm never usually this popular. Nobody likes me usually. I get about 5 messages a day, or 5 different people. It's usually the same 5 people. But I've had like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 messages while I've just been live. 11 different people. But yeah, so that's part of the first announcement. Basically, yeah, we're gonna get smashed. I'm gonna really enjoy it, because a lot of people said, Carl Clover said to me as well, and a couple of people have said, I've never seen you steaming or anything or smashed, because I'm about DJing. I tend to either drive back or I remain professional, because if you're there and you're getting paid to work, you can't get, well, in my opinion, you can't get smashed and then fucking perform. Well, I know I can't anyways, because there's no in between with me. I've got this, which is nice and sober, and then I've got the other end of the spectrum where I've drank a couple of bottles of wine or fucking 20 cans and I'm absolutely smashed. so I think that's why the Patreon special is going to be so good. By the way, you can sign up at Patreon at patreon.com/it's time to refresh. You'll be getting that behind the paywall, because obviously I will be saying and doing some things questionable that won't be able to go out in public. So so yeah. Oh, what's that? I can't read them questions. I apologise. I'll have to just load these up. 2 seconds. It's Bounce, that lad says, shit on the scene. I'm not gonna get steaming and shit on the scene, because there's only a couple of things that bother me within Bounce, and I think they bother everyone, so it doesn't matter anyways. Do you know what I mean? The whole, like, if it was my full-time job, I'd probably hate more things and more people, but because it isn't, I can enjoy it, and anything that I don't want to be involved in, I can just basically say fuck off. Do you know what I mean? Like, if someone I didn't like come to me and said, do you want to be involved in this, I'd be like, thanks, but no thanks, and just leave it there, because I like to think I'm a quite professional person at the end of the day. Do you know what I mean? But any negativity or out like that, I just tend to like pull myself out of anyways. I don't really get involved in anything like that. But when I get smashed, I might just say some daft and stupid stuff, all in jest, of course. And obviously, when you get into a scene chat, when you've had a drink and stuff, any ravers who's out there who's been in the green room when people have been smashed, it's interesting. Just the crack in it. Like, you get to find out. Like, I've had someone come to me. I can tell you when it was as well. It was Sanctuary New Year's Eve. There's like a little green room next to the stage in Flamingo, sort of level 4, and I've had people come in, and I had a person come in, sorry, and he was like absolutely smashed. He'd come to get like a bottle or whatever. I don't even think he was DJing as well. That was another thing. And he said to me, he says, "Do you know something? If you were around 20 years ago, you'd be good." He says, "But no one likes your style now because it's old and everyone just likes the harder stuff, so you're never going to get anywhere." And then I got a message off in the morning after saying, "Hi mate, I was smashed last night." Don't know what I said, but whatever I said, I didn't mean it. I was like, the honesty came out at least. Do you know what I mean? I know not everyone likes what I do. I'm aware of that, but I'd like to think that those who do like my tunes and what I do with the podcast and everything like that, the ones who do like it, love it. So yeah. With regards to, there's no more questions, I don't think. with regards to a couple more things, so I want to get this out nice. I know we are currently only on Friday the 1st of September, but I'm going to be doing another It's Time to Refresh event. It was hinted at, went on that episode a couple of weeks ago. We're going to make and friends. So me and John's putting at Club 135, and it's going to be on Saturday the 4th of November. It's going to be special because what we've got planned, I want to tell you in advance because I'm aware that I see the statistics and stuff like that. I know that the YouTube and Spotify viewership is it's an older audience. So and they are lapsed ravers as well. There's a lot of people who comment saying, "Oh, I used to go to so and so. I used to do this. I used to do that." You have got the current crowd who still go out who comment as well. But the majority of the podcast listeners are actually lapsed ravers who don't go out anymore or only go out for special occasions. So I want to get this out nice and early so you can get like your baby sorted or like your childcare sorted, and you can come up and just enjoy the night. I'm going to try and put on the best party that I can. Anyone who's been to the past It's Time to Refresh events will know that like it's a proper fun night. It's extremely busy, which I'm not complaining about, but it's a fun night. We play. It's not just you're not just there. Every set's different. I'm not just there hammering my style because I'm aware that, like I said, not everyone likes what I do. So I booked DJs who's got varying styles. Like on the last one we had General Bounce. He played like a lot of cheeky track stuff, very cheesy hands in the air bounce. I did the warm up and I played. I think I played about 135 on the warm up, and I was just playing like some Dutch stuff. I played some piano bits and stuff like that. It's not usually what I play, but I wasn't planning on playing warm up. We had John G, and he played like the Sanctuary favourites, and I loved it. And then we had Andy Kelly as well, and he was playing like techno trance, but it was like I was surprised how much it worked. I enjoyed that style myself, but I was genuinely surprised how much that worked. So on Saturday the 4th of November, we'll be taking over Club 135. I want to make it special. I want to make it. I'm not looking to do these events every month. I'm not about that. I don't want to just sit there and rinse people or rinse the party or rinse because if you put it on every month, it'll be boring. I could put it on every month. I've been asked to put it on every month, but I don't want to because I don't want people to get bored of it. I do a podcast every week. People will be sick of seeing this face. So basically what I'm saying to you is the majority is of the podcast listeners 30 to 40, and then the second market is 50. I think it was 40 to no, sorry, I apologise, sorry. It's 30 to 45 is our main clientele. Like that is literally the main viewership across Spotify and YouTube. And then we've got 45 plus 45 to 60 is the secondary. So they are it is a much that I'm talking to on the pod. The 18 to 25 demographic, there is a lot there, but no, not even close to what there is. So I'm aware there's a lot of, like, as I say, there's a lot of older ravers who watch this, and I was made aware of it. I went to Madison's, the old school night in Electric Soup a couple of months ago, and the amount of people who come and talk to me saying they watch it, I didn't even know I was a thing in that sort of scene. Do you know what I mean? The old school scene, but yeah, it was special because I got there and I'm like, all these people who I know, but like all like these old school DJs and stuff coming up to me going, that podcast is banging, I watch every weekend and I love this episode and I love this episode. And then I know Carl and Pricey are watching, I told them a story. I went to that night and then someone come up to me and he goes, it's Mr. YouTube boy, and I was like, oh God, what's this? He goes, yeah, you're the guy off YouTube who talks to DJs and stuff. And I was like, yeah, that's me. He goes, yeah, YouTube boy. And then he hugged me and then walked away. So yeah, I can't believe I've talked for 30 minutes. I'm not going to keep it any longer because I'm not a dickhead. Do you know what I mean? Well, I am a dickhead, but you know. So just a couple of things just to go over before we go. And I'll check the questions one more time. If you've got any questions, I'll quickly answer them. So yeah, It's Time to Refresh Smashed Spooky Special, Patreon special, has said 3 guests we're going to record for 4 hours, all the carnage, music, scene chat, all unfiltered with tequila and beer. That's going to be, I think, one of my favourites of the year. I'm actually booking the Christmas special as well. I'm trying to get ahead of everyone, because obviously I don't ever want to fall behind on putting weekly content out. I'm a bit good about it today. But yeah, that being said, that comes out on Halloween. So that'll be the Halloween special. We're obviously decorating that with some spooky stuff, ghosts, pumpkins. Might even have our own pumpkin for it, but It's Time to Refresh logo in. And yeah, on Saturday the 4th of November with It's Time to Refresh presents Manic and Friends. The lineup will be coming out in the next couple of weeks. I'm not going to be sharing anything on my socials, on Instagram or Facebook or anything like that, saying that it's coming. It's, if you watch this video, you know it's coming. Do you know what I'm saying? Like that. That's it. I know the people who'll watch this video will be the diehards. Do you know what I mean? I'm aware of that on the podcast listeners. So it's just a heads up for all you lot who need to get your childcare and everything organised. I'd like to see a lot of ravers who don't go out as much turn out in your droves, because the last one there was a lot of young people there, and I was surprised at how far people had travelled as well for the last one. The last one there was people came from Aberdeen, which, I mean, to Whitehaven it's a fucking trek, and there was people who used to come and see me play hardcore at Telford, the Telford Arena. They travelled up from Birmingham, so it's like people are willing to travel that far just for this podcast tonight. I think speaks volumes. So that's why I thought about doing another one as well. That's why I wanted to come back and do another one. I'll just check to see if there's any more questions before I go, and then I'll let you go, because I have been on for a while. My questions won't load up. Lovely. Kirsty says we'll try and come. Yeah, come along. You never know, price might be on it. I haven't asked any DJs yet, so, or MCs. So you never know. Yeah. Thanks for listening. As I say, they were just a couple of special announcements, and I apologise again for about the episode today. I really, really wanted to get something out, but I got let down a couple of times, and I just thought, why am I asking people last minute? Like, I've got a list of people I want to get through, and I'm trying as hard as I can to get everyone in and on, but I've got my shit on, and I obviously I've got my full-time job and shit like that, and I've got production, and I've got podcasting, and I've got the editing and everything to do. So there's only so many hours in a day, and I need to make space to go to these people. They come to me and record the podcasts. There's going to be a cream egg challenge as well. I'm not sure. I'm on a diet at the minute, so yeah, I'm going to try and eat 30 cream eggs to prove somebody wrong. I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, just want to say thanks again. As if you wanted to watch the Halloween special, then sign up for Patreon, and it will be dropping on Halloween. That's patreon.com/It's Time to Refresh. I haven't got the fan turned on yet. It's unbelievably warm, so I'm going to go now. So thank you, and I'll see you later.